Hey there, thanks very much for coming along. Today I've got some new instruments from Performance Samples that I'm going to be trying out. Rather than just doing my normal sort of review where I go through each instrument one at a time and sort of go through all the different articulations, I'm actually just going to write a short piece with only these new Performance Samples instruments as kind of the palette of the work. So I've got kind of three main instruments which are new from Performance Samples. So we've got a solo cello, which is called Vista 2. And then we've got fluid short, so it's got a full string section, 12 violins, 8 violas, 6 cellos, 5 basses, and it also has this full ensemble spiccato, which is absolutely fantastic. So that's a really useful patch for sketching, and I think for more final products as well, that'd be really useful. And then we've got Pacific solo strings, where we've got a solo violin, and then I've got another solo cello instrument. So we've got Vista 2 solo cello, which is a standalone, and then part of Pacific solo strings, we've got another solo cello. These are the only instruments that I'm going to try and use to write this piece. So far, I've done a little bit of sketching, and I've come up with this opening idea. So not a bad start to the piece. I'm just going to start building up some layers. Okay, let's try and get some basses in here. So we've got the 5 basses spiccato. So we've got that kind of idea on the go. I'm just going to quantize it a little bit. I'm just going to cheat a little bit and just copy in the same idea. This is just to give you an example of what the piece would be. Okay, I think we could maybe use the harmonics in the strings here to add a little bit of mystery in the opening here. So this is Pacific solo strings harmonics. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of moving stuff around. Everything at the moment is all kind of 4-bar phrases. We'll change that a little bit later on. I'm just wanting to kind of extend this, perhaps a little bit of mystery in the beginning. I'm going to add some cello harmonics here as well. What I'm going to do actually is start introducing a tiny bit of this viola idea, but just the first 2 notes of it. So I'm going to get rid of the last couple, and then the next 3, and the next 4, and then the full thing. So it does something like this. So that's a really useful way of kind of introducing ideas. So all I did there was just copy in the idea and delete stuff so that I had 2 notes and then 3 notes and then 4 notes and then the full 5 notes. So it kind of crossfades in almost. Okay, what I'm going to do now is we're going to have the cellos play the same as the violas. Okay, what I'm going to do at the end of that, just double everything a little bit so it becomes semiquavers. Same in the violas as well. To add a little bit of emphasis to the end of that. So this is where I think we can afford to have a little break up in the kind of groove. So rather than it always being in 5/4, it's really useful to kind of contract and extend bars sometimes. So what I'm going to do is change this bar here to a 4/4 bar. So we're contracting the length of the bar, so that now we can get rid of this final beat. And everything just kind of hiccups a little bit. So we'll put this following bar back to a 5/4. It just helps add that sense of kind of uncertainty to the overall mood. We've got a kind of bedrock for maybe adding a melody with. That is really, really stunning. That's beautiful. So let's just see what happens here. I won't get it right first time, but let's see. Should also say I'm getting tons of control out of this Ghost Note controller, which I reviewed a wee while ago. It's just a fantastic bit of kit. So for the second half of this melody, what I'm going to do is copy it into the solo violin legato. I'm going to take it up the octave. Let's just see how this sounds. I might need to kind of reprogram it a little bit, but that octave doubling between violin and cello is a fantastic sound. Let's see. Okay, so to add some sense of kind of build up, I'm going to do what I did before with the violas. Turn everything that is quavers into semiquavers. A little bit shorter, so let's see just how short this can go. So this is the normal version. And what I'm going to do, rather than the violas always going down the way, well, for this last time they're going to kind of go up the way. So now that really sounds like it's built up a lot of tension by making the notes quicker, changing the velocities. That's kind of our first statement sort of finished. Let's move on to something which is kind of like a development. Maybe this is a good time for the violins to come in. Let's just see what happens. I have no idea what's going to come out, but let's just kind of riff off the initial cello idea. Okay, so that kind of works as a wee kind of transition. We still need to have kind of undercurrents of what was there before. So the basses were... What a fantastic full sound that is. Okay, a lot of quantization needed. Okay, let's see how this sounds if I take this this melody and put it in also with the other cello, but we'll put it in the other cello the octave lower. Let's just see what this color sounds like. Let's hear both cellos together first. That sounds great. Yeah, I really like that. That doubling there really works, I think. Again. And obviously, if I was going to do more than just a demo piece with this, I would go through and kind of re-engineer, reprogram this so that it doesn't swell at exactly the same time as the Vista 2 cello. But that's for another day. What's great is that these two solo cellos obviously operate kind of differently to each other in terms of like the way they've been built and the legatos and everything. And this actually makes it sound more realistic, because if you had two live cellos playing, they would obviously play ever so slightly differently. And I think that really works for this, and it just makes it sound a little bit more realistic. So actually kind of, I suppose it's kind of blending these different libraries together really works in this kind of context, I think. Okay, let's get back to kind of writing it. So I'm sort of throwing in a lot of layers here. Maybe it's a little bit busy, but it's kind of just to show how these instruments could perhaps work together in this piece. So maybe for the second half of this, we can have some of the kind of the violin harmonic ideas kind of come through again. So it's a really great sound. Just to add that kind of air of kind of underlying mystery. Okay, and then we're going to kind of recap what we had in the beginning. Okay, so I realise I've not done a lot of talking for a while, because I've just been kind of mucking around with what to do with this actual section. So what I've kind of settled on are the specific solo strings, these kind of weird high harmonics, not really in time with what's going on around it. I'm going to have the cellos do a similar kind of thing, just adding another kind of layer of sort of ambiguity to it. Maybe not the same pitches, but let's just see. Actually, the violin starts going down, so the cello's going to start going up, so they kind of interlock in with each other. So I really like using rhythms which aren't on the grid and don't fit in with this kind of really aggressive forward rhythmic drive, because the two parts in isolation, harmonics, just add to that idea of it being a little bit confused. Okay, so now we're going to have a kind of a recap of what happened here. So it's going to be the same melodies from the start. Let's have all the string instruments playing it in like a weird 3-octave meta instrument. Maybe it's just something really simple. So I'm just going to play back this piece. I've not worked on it for very long at all, as you can see. If I just open up the mixer here, you can see I've got absolutely no processing on whatsoever, nothing on the mix bus, there's nothing on any of the instruments. This is just giving you a real sense of what you can achieve with these instruments without any mixing whatsoever. I think I've changed one level. I've done one tiny bit of automation in all of this somewhere. But otherwise, this is really giving you a good representation of what these instruments can do. This is obviously a really short piece. It's nowhere near perfect structurally and all that stuff, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what these amazing instruments can do. Let me know in the comments if you've got a suggestion of a title. I'm rubbish at titles, so if you have any suggestions, I'd be delighted to hear from you. If you have any questions about how I approach this piece, how I wrote something, fairly quickly, and if you've got any questions about, my kind of process and how I kind of did this, please let me know. I'll be very happy to get back to you. Give us a like, give us a sub. Otherwise, here is the playback of this as yet untitled piece using only these performance sample instruments. So as I said, absolutely not a perfect piece. I would do plenty of more development of this middle section here. That's not gone on long enough, but hey, that was just a little look at performance samples and these new instruments. If you fancy it, please do give us a little like, give us a little subscribe. That'd be fantastic. More of these videos on the way. I'm going to be going back to Cinematic Studio Strings very, very soon and recapping on my first kind of couple of months using them. Otherwise, let me know any comments, any questions. Be happy to hear from you. Thanks so much. See you next time. Take care.